Yeah, I seen that, but I'm gonna have to change it. Sweater didn't do it with this one.
I'm used to military time, so there's no problem.
I noticed that when I looked up, see, I said, what is, something right?
Ever been that late before, Brad?
No, I had to fix it. It only took me, well, I worked on, months ago, I was in there doing something. It took me about 30 minutes to figure out how to do it. That's where I fixed this one, but I'm gonna have to go back and figure out how to do that one. Because I didn't get the minutes right on this one.
No, I thought you said that, but you didn't get the time right.
Yeah, it's about dead anyway. Don't have a complete 4 up there. I thought we corrected him to get to atomic clock.
I did too.
Evidently, it didn't get moved.
Well, according to my clock, it's 6 o'clock, and we'll enter back into the public segment of our meeting, and I need a motion to come out of closed session, please.
I'll make a motion to return to open session.
And that closed session was for A1 personnel and AA legal, dealing with the EDA. Is there a second?
I second.
Discussion? Since you're ready to vote, I'll call Mr. Gill.
Yes.
Mr. Gill?
Yes.
Mr. McCraw?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. McCraw?
Yes.
Yes. And now I need to certify that the only thing we spoke about in closed session were the 2 things I mentioned. If somebody make a motion, we sort of certify.
I make a motion to say certified.
Second.
Second.
All right, if you will agree, just say I so certify, Mr. Moore,
I so certify.
Mr. McCraw,
I so certify.
Mr. Hill,
I so certify.
Mr. Williams.
I so certify.
Mr. McCraw.
Say certified.
I so certify. Our next item is we're going to have Mr. McCraw, Robbie that is, to lead us in an invocation under pledge.
Let us pray. Oh, gracious and heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for the opportunity that you've provided for us and the many blessings you've passed down upon us. Lord, we ask that you watch over this meeting. Just let it be conducted in peace and harmony. Watch over us as we travel back home. Be with those that are sick and shut in and those dealing with the virus. Lord, we just ask that you watch over and bless each and every one. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we had everybody sign up for citizens' time. No one has signed up. Is anyone in the audience that would like to have 3 minutes of their time? In your time. Okay. I'm going to add one thing to the agenda, and I'm going to go up to the podium and ask Celeste if you would join me, please. That would be you. We're ending one of our eras and entering another new era. Mike is sitting over here to my left at the county administrator's desk, and Mr. Dalton is sitting back in the corner, which I think you probably enjoy that maybe better than over here. And your service to the county is not complete because you're going to do a few little interim things for us. But I did want to present you with something, and this was supposed to be a surprise, but Mr. Dalton signs the checks. And just in the last couple of days, he signed a check for a trophy, and the memorandum said Salel. So he had a clue that he may be getting something. But I would like to read this. In appreciation for your exemplary service during a difficult transition period, your leadership has positioned Carroll County to move forward in a positive direction. And we appreciate your time that you spent with us for about 1.5 years. And I know you came out of retirement. We had to drag you by your heels, but we do appreciate everything you've done for the county.
Tom, I appreciate everything and the board allowing me to help you through the times. It's been my pleasure and honor instead of the reverse. Thank y'all.
Yep. Moving down to the agenda, the next is payment of invoices. We need a motion to approve if you so desire.
I make a motion that we accept the invoices as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll start the voting with Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Crawl,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Mr. Crawl.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Our next item is approving the minutes of our previous meeting.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Is there a second to that motion?
I second.
Any discussion on the minutes or any corrections that need to be made? Hearing none, I assume you're ready to vote, and I'll start with Mr. McCraw.
I vote yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. McCraw?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Yes, motion approved. The minutes of the previous meeting. Our next item is the consent calendar. I need a motion to approve that if that's your desire.
I make a motion, we approve the consent calendar.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the consent calendar? Hearing none, I'll start the motion with Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Crawl.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Yes. Motion is approved, consent calendar. Under new business, we have a guest with us tonight, Angie Grooms, and she's going to present about the Billsby Buck relicensing procedure. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Angie Grooms. Thank you for having me and taking your time today to talk a little bit about the Buck and Billsby relicensing. I tend to flip those around. Officially, the project is that better? Sorry about that. I'm Angie Grooms. My husband and I have a property and a cabin in Wythe County. We're just barely over the Carroll County line. We're about 200 yards from Carroll County, downstream of the Buck Dam. Just as a little background and why I'm interested in this, I worked for Duke Energy for 36 years in the environmental area. This is the first time I've been on the stakeholder side of the table. I've usually been on the company side of the table. So that's where my knowledge of the process and everything comes from, is from that experience. And what I really wanted to do is just make people aware of that and to understand the opportunity that Carroll County has and the residents of the county have, and the stakeholder process with Appalachian Power AEP. Who has the authority for the operating license of the Billsby Buck project? That's a federal Energy Regulatory Commission. They are the one regulatory agency that issues hydropower licenses. The licenses themselves give the company, Appalachian Power, American Electric Power, the opportunity to use the resource, the river, to produce power. They also set the operating conditions for the company, for the length of the license. They ensure that there's adequate public access to the river, to the area of the project, and making sure that the way that the company operates the project is not detrimental to the environment, to the citizens and the stakeholders, the water quality, things like that, for the river. The licenses themselves, and why it's a big deal, is the licenses are good for 40 to 50 years typically. So certainly this is going to be the once-in-a-lifetime time that I have to work on this, or to have an opportunity to have any input. The current license for the Billsby Buck project expires in 2024. That process is about a 5-year process. They began, AEP began in 2019 with scoping meetings in the general area. The downside to the federal regulatory process is that they don't really have to do a lot of advertising. There's an ad in the paper. They do send some letters out, but it's another letter from AEP that you might or might not look at, so that it is usually, except for the agencies like the Virginia Game and Inland Fisheries and some of those folks, DNR, Natural Resources, they get it more involved. But from this standpoint, to get the stakeholders and the folks who are really the most impacted, there needs to be some more information shared, I think, with the public. And why would you even care? Why does it matter? From this standpoint, this is the one opportunity that you have to say, this is what we in Carroll County need in the operation of this plant. If we need it for the water plant, the regional water plant that's downstream near this Lead Mines Bridge, certainly that's a big impact. How much sediment's coming down, that's a big impact for them. For tourism, for the folks who you might have outfitters who are fishermen, who lead fishing tour, how much turbidity there is, how muddy the water is, how much flow there is. If people are paddling or tubing, it's a great ride down from just below the dam. At the end of Loafer's Rest, over off of Lead Mines Road, Loafer's Rest goes all the way down to the river. There is a fish and game, fishing access, and loosely a portage area, an area where you can put your kayak in, but it's not very accessible for folks, especially as you get old. The older you get, the harder it is. And being able to have access through that area, and certainly for folks who are kind of on that side of the river, it makes a big difference to be able to access that. One of the issues that we've really noticed being on the river and being out is how much turbidity there's been. If you fish that area or paddle, or you have noticed that there have been a lot of things that they've been working on both at Billsby and at Buck, as well as we've had some big rains, and we've had some flooding down in that area. We've had where the flashboards, a part of the dam, have broken, and it has to get down, and the flow gets down before they can replace that. But that gets a lot of sediment coming downstream, which goes downstream for the residents that are down there as well as for the water plant. I think one of the things that I wanted to make folks know is that in this relicensing process, there will be some other stakeholder meetings. Those should be coming up. One of the things that I'd encourage folks to do is to go on to the AEP website, and I think in the information that Crystal provided, there's a link to that. On that website for the Billsby Buck hydropower, there's a recreation survey. That survey is going to be open through the end of November, and then it'll be closed off. That's an opportunity to comment. And one of the things we noticed was that the access that we use, which is in fact the one at the end of Loafer's Rest, was not even included in the survey. So there's an area to write that in. So if that's an area that you use, please make a note of that. We were talking to one of the fellows from Virginia Game and Inland Fishery, game warden today, and he mentioned that they were not really considering that access very much. So I think that's certainly something for everyone who is over in that area, because it's a long ways around to get around to the one at Ivanhoe. But certainly the one thing I would say is please take the opportunity to be involved. If you have questions, my name, my email address, telephone number, that's my cell number, be happy to do that. The key thing is to be able to be involved, if you can, at these stakeholder meetings, to be certainly as elected officials, you are higher up in the tier of stakeholders they listen to. Certainly more so, it's just the way the process works. You've got agencies, federal agencies, state agencies, elected officials, so you all will have more say-so, and I think that's where, as you can become more aware of things that could be potentially affected, and to hopefully improve things for access for the citizens. You've already got folks who are coming up riding the New River Trail. If they had the opportunity to maybe paddle another day, they'd be needing someplace to stay. They might want a tube. Lots of people used to be on the inner tubes coming down. It's a very accessible way to do things. But my real purpose here is just to make you aware of what was going on, to make you aware of what the deadlines are, the fact that the license expires. They're in the pre-application phase right now. So that's where a lot of studies are being done by a consultant for AEP, along with AEP themselves. And that's where they're doing fisheries studies. They're doing essentially critters, the bottom critters there. They're doing the recreational survey. They're doing water quality surveys where they're going out and sampling, both for water quality, for fish, for critters that fish eat on. And those studies are underway right now. There are progress reports that are being posted to the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission website, so you can get access to those. And there are some links to that on the AEP Appalachian Power Hydro section for that. And I also tried to give you some of those. The key thing you need to know to look up anything on FERC is what the project number is, which is a hard thing to find. But the project number is 2514. If you're specifically interested in only the relicensing, it's 2514-186. And I put that in the package as well. And that's one of the things to be aware of. But I'd be happy to answer any questions I can, or
On page 5 of the report,
yes.
there's several folks there that attended that meeting. What does HDR stand for?
Okay, HDR is a consulting firm. Most of the folks there are actually based in Charlotte, North Carolina. I know of several of them. From that standpoint, they do a lot of hydro relicensings in the Southeast. They were also the environmental firm, that consulting firm that did the relicensing for Claytor Lake. One of my former colleagues from Duke Energy works there, so.
And some of the things that were recommended, are they things that would be new to what's there now?
Some of the things that are, no, right now they're not really the things that they're looking at right now, from my understanding, talking to the agency folks who've actually, John Copeland, who's the Virginia Game and Inland Fisheries, and one of the other folks who was at the tour that they had this past week, or I guess it was the 27th of October. Or 28th, and they weren't really, I think, interested in expanding too much. They didn't seem to have much interest in improving the loafers' rest. So I think, and from my point of view, from the company's standpoint, they're going to try to keep it as low-key as they can and do as little as possible because it's most economical. And the stakeholders pushing on it is what makes them change their mind, from the people making comments, from people and especially governmental bodies saying we really need this for our county, we need this for our people, because a lot of the folks down Loafers Rest and Van, it weaves in and out of Carroll and Wythe counties there, and so certainly the folks there, and I think the key is to have the folks who are really interested in pushing this and making the comments.
I attended that meeting.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Yes,
And-
Mr.
and,
Hill.
Also, I added some documents they give us about some recommendations that they discussed over there, that most of it's recreation, what they could do, and of course, with the river being the way it is, and it flows and ebbs and floods, it's difficult, but there are some recommendations. We already put on the road to the boat landing, that was a recommendation to improve that, but that's already on the 6-year plan to do that. They want to improve the boat landing, put lights, different things like that, do some things, more law enforcement, things like that. And John did talk to him about adding Loafer's Rest down there. There's some other stuff that they don't have that doesn't pertain specifically to the relicensing, but the federal government owns a campground across the river there, and we need to have that discussion with our senators and the president, see if we can't get that reopened. At one time, the Virginia Conservation and Recreation leased that from the federal government. Then there was an insurance problem, and they no longer do it, and it's sitting over there not being utilized.
It's a great, we actually walked around last weekend over there, and it is, it's not been mowed or anything like that, but they had bathhouses, they had campfire rings, everything set up, and it is right off. There's a really good gravel road, the Buck Dam Road, that goes all the way across there. It's easy access, and even the gates are there that would have let you get into that campground, and the access right off the New River Trail is really excellent. And there's just, in checking into it, certainly it's one of those things where, because it's federal land, it would need to be transferred, so it really takes a literal act of Congress, or an actual act of Congress to do it. But it's certainly something that I went back and tried to research the history there, and it looked like at least several times it had been brought up to be transferred, but there's just been no activity. And that is just, because if people could come and camp and float and fish and bicycle, they're going to be staying for multiple days. They're going to go eat. They're going to go, use outfitters that are in the area. So I think that would be certainly as a key item too.
They also put trail cameras up over camping areas and fishing areas, so they got a pretty good idea of what they're utilizing there. But everybody, we still got to the end of this month, correct?
Correct.
That people can comment and make recommendations as far as what AEP would do and could do.
Right. And I think especially some of the improvements to the access areas, that is not something that's going to cost them a whole lot of money. And that's something that could really make it so much easier, because I know at least the New River Trail State Park outfitter used to come up to the Loafer's Rest, and that's where they would launch, because there's those nice little ledges going down, and they could go down to either all the way to Foster Falls or to lead mines, and it's just a very nice float. It's not so hard, it's not so dangerous, and a lot of people just go in inner tubes. But when you've got to carry your boat a quarter of a mile down a steep hill, it makes it really difficult. So
That's one thing that might be good for us to know what improvements that you and others would like to see made, and then we can address those.
Yep.
And I think the improved access area is something that is very common in hydro relicenses that other companies have anteed up.
And see, they have I guess it's called the pool level, so they have land that they have that's up above the normal river flow. So those areas, it's receiving a lot of bad, I guess, people utilizing it. And that's something else that we could enter in some type of agreement with AEP to lease that land for picnic areas, fishing areas, and things like that. So there's some options there, and we just have to pursue those.
And certainly the counties, I know, and down in North Carolina with the relicensing of the Catawba water dams, that was 11 dams there that were relicensed under that process. And there are a number of leases to counties for county parks and where the counties could go in and the company would lease that land to them. So, yeah.
But there's not a lot of time to.
That's for the comment. Now, there's still they don't submit the actual application and everything until the 2022. And there should be some upcoming, I think John had mentioned there's an upcoming stakeholder meeting. And he tried to get myself and David Taylor in to be able to go to this one, but we couldn't, they were not amenable to that. But there'll be other stakeholder meetings. I've now been added to the official list so that I should get all the mailings and make sure that we get some folks out there and have some folks who use the river, who are up there, they see it all the time, because the folks from AEP don't, the folks from HDR don't, and, you know, you folks and the folks around here, we're the folks who see it all the time. So,
Maybe keep us informed on some of these other meetings.
certainly, I'll be happy to do that, Dr. Luttrell. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation. Continuing on with our new business, we need to appropriate Carroll County School Board CARES Fund under the Section D. That's in the amount of $243,122.29.
Make a motion that we add those, put those two together since it's B and C. One of them's 610,000. Make a motion, we approve both of those.
All right, that would be sections B and C under new business, and as you mentioned, C is $610,295.
Yep.
Is there a motion to that effect? Is that what, did you make a motion?
Yes, that's my,
Is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion?
Is this CARES funding that come through us to them, or is this CARES funding that is just directly from the Board of Education?
Directly from the Board of Education.
Any further clarifications or questions? Hearing none, I'll assume you're ready to vote. I'll start with Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Yes. Both sections B and C are approved. D under new business is the disposition of a unclaimed body. We basically don't have much choice. According to the code, we will take care of anybody in the county that's not claimed, but I do need a motion to approve that, if that's what you choose to do.
Make a motion that we approve this disposition of body.
I think that was $600 and some dollars, I believe.
I think that's right.
625.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll start the vote with Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. Next item is the fiscal year 22 budget calendar. You have a copy of that, which is multiple dates throughout the next few months. Need a motion to approve that unless you need to modify those. And it starts on December the 14th with initial parameters and goals for the fiscal year 2022.
I'll make a motion that we approve the budget calendar for fiscal year 22.
Is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll start the voting with Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Yes. Motion's approved. Our next item is the VDOT project pipeline, and who's going to speak about that?
Aye, Mr. Chairman. What this is where VDOT is looking for future projects, and what we are requesting is the Board of Supervisors can come up with some projects or some areas within their districts or within the county that they'd like to see move forward, get with us so that we can present those projects to VDOT, possibly find future funding for
Is this different than the 6-year road plan?
them. It probably ties all in together with it. I think that this gives us more of an opportunity to put lists of projects out there that we can start funding. And these projects can also be used not only for the 6-year plan, but also if you're looking at other type of funding also.
Is there a deadline to do this?
Not that I'm aware of, but it probably needs to be done for the first year.
If everybody on the board would consider bringing in some ideas on, some project ideas that we can identify, and we'll talk about it and make a list next meeting. That's November, the December meeting.
I won't-
Okay with everybody?
want to go ahead and add one before I forget it. I've been approached this week by 2 or 3 people about the intersection of 58 and 620 at Woodlawn. There's been several accidents, and it's beginning to be a very busy intersection,
Yes.
and I've had several people approach and want to know if we can do a traffic light, caution light, something to help with that intersection or something.
Is that the western or the eastern end?
It's
It's gonna be right across.
right there at Harmon's,
Okay.
right there at Harmon's.
Since there's more traffic going to the,
Is that actually Oak Ridge or something, or Forest Oak?
Forest Oak does go the other direction, yes, sir, it does, yeah.
And we got 2 or 3 I need to mention, I guess. I've had requests for an extension of Stillview Lane, Stillview Drive, or whatever it is. One that extended on up at 3 houses. And I had a request for Old Wagon Trail to be taken over by the state. And we're still hoping that something can be done to the Brushy Fork Road. You got tractor trailer traffic through there and curves that they can't make. And also, Old Appalachian Trail, I talked to them later the other week about it. Since we didn't have the program this year, they didn't come in and talk to us about the 6-year plan. That one still is moved up, but there won't be any work this year. Hopefully, it'll come up soon, that they'll get out there and work on that, hopefully.
I don't know the name of the road. Was that include the one down by the convenience center, or is that a different road?
It would,
The one near the convenience center that washed out?
yeah, I don't know if that's got a name or not.
Spees Mill.
Spees.
S-P-E-A-S, Mill.
Space Mill Road.
Everybody make notes, we'll make a list next time. Our next item is a request from the clerk of the court. They have received a grant of $21,680 through the circuit court preservation program, and we were requested to accept it and appropriate that back to the circuit court, clerk of the court.
I make a motion that we appropriate that grant.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Any discussion? I know they've worked very hard to preserve some of our county records over the last 2 or 3 years. I think this is a very worthwhile grant. And since you're ready to vote, I'll start with, excuse me, Mr. Webb,
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Michael, you want to give us the solid waste authority fees information? Do you have that?
Yes. In your information, you have a list of solid waste rate and fees effective January 1st, 2020. guess all I would need is a motion to approve the current rates, the rates effective January the 1st. I think there was some discussion at previous meetings about compaction, low compaction waste. I think that was one of the main discussions that was during these fees.
I'm gonna have to ask a question. Do we have to approve these, or is it up to the Solid Waste Authority to approve these? I know we could talk about that.
The Solid Waste Authority approved those, had a public hearing at the last meeting, which is a week ago, I believe. I'm not sure where we have to, we don't have to. I guess that's just for discussion.
Our next item, we need to authorize Mr. Mike Watson, our county administrator, to be a signer on our operating account. And we also need to issue a bond for him. So that needs to be a motion to approve those items if you so approve.
Make a motion, we approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion. I think after we approve this, it takes 3 days for it to become effective. I'll start with Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. Twill.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw. Yes. Yes. Motion approved. Our next item is compensation board appropriation approve and appropriate. And the request is that we approve and appropriate $14,532.75 for funds provided by the compensation board for a one-time $500 bonus payment effective December 1st, 2020. And this will be for all compensation funded sworn positions at the sheriff's office, including the sheriff and sheriff deputies.
Make a motion, we approve that. That's essentially what the comp board is, the state of Virginia is providing for those folks.
I'll second it.
Second, thank you. Any further discussion? Since you're ready to vote, I'll start with Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Will.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Yes. I'm trying to keep you all on your toes tonight. Okay, the next item is the employee appropriation, approved and appropriate or deny. And the request is that we approve and appropriate $70,241.63 for a one-time $500 bonus to all full-time county general employees, all constitutional officers and their employees, Department of Social Services Director and employees, the victim witness director and employees of the sheriff's office who have not been included in the compensation board funding which we just approved.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion. Could we add part-time employees also? Not clear.
I mean, that would be up to your choice.
Yes. I like that motion with part-time employees included.
Will that be prorated by the hours they worked, or will it be
Yes.
full $500?
Yes. Prorated by the hour what they work. Yep.
I'll second.
Any discussion on the motion?
So can we change the amount?
Yeah, we'll have
Put
to.
an amount in there.
Yeah, we'll have to change the amount.
Just make a motion on to cover whatever
They'll
that
have
would
to
be.
figure it out later, right?
Yeah.
If we can just not include the amount, just the
Yes.
$500.
I make a motion, $500 for all the full-time employees that were in my first motion, and add part-time employees to the hours of what they were.
Will it increase the overall amount by some?
Yes, by whatever it is. Yes.
A second.
Any more discussion? I sent you ready to vote in that case, and also Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. McCraw?
Yes.
Yes. Our next item comes from the clerk of the court. Carroll Gold has requested that the Board of Supervisors approve December 23rd, 2020 as a half-day holiday. This date is not a holiday per first-time policy, but it has been approved by the courts, for the courts by the CDC and the Judicial Council. So we either need to approve or deny that.
That's a half a day?
Yes, it's a half a day on the
Okay.
23rd.
I make a motion, we approve.
Is there a second?
I second.
Discussion? I'll start the voting with Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Yes. Our next item is our interim finance director, and because we have a gap between the time that Mike can sign the checks and when, and there may be a payroll in between, because some people always want to get paid, which I understand. We're going to ask Mr. Salil Dalton to act as our interim finance director for a few days. And you want to read that? I think we have a motion to that effect.
Like to make a motion, I'll look at the speaker over here. Like to make a motion to continue Mr. Dalton as employee of the county in accordance with his existing contract in order to maintain continuity in the county administration as we transition to Mr. Watson. This motion involves authorization for Mr. Dalton to continue to sign checks as necessary till Mr. Watson's signature is processed by the county's bank. This authorization includes authority for Mr. Dalton to serve as executive director of the Economic Development Authority until the EDA advertises and appoints a successor. Like Steve's done.
Thank you, Mr. McCraw. Is there a second to the motion?
Is there any dates in that? So,
It'll take about 3 days for the banks to approve his signature. I think, is that about right?
That's correct.
3 days.
So basically, whenever the duties can be transferred from one person to the other.
Okay.
That's the financial part. The EDA was a little bit different.
We do them in two different motions?
It was combined in one motion, but that's okay, but you didn't divide it out if you want to.
Let's do them separate, the interim finance and then the EDA, two different ones. That be all right?
Well, we haven't had a second, so you can
Okay.
substitute the motion.
Okay.
Is that a motion with the substitute?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to
Separate.
keep Mr. Dalton, the interim finance director, till Mr. Watson's signature is processed.
Is there a second to that motion?
I think I second that. That's a good.
Did you second the other one?
Yeah. No, we hadn't got to that yet.
No, we
I think
haven't got
he-
to that.
I don't think so.
He made the amendment to the motion,
Mm-hmm.
so I guess I second the amendment. Right, okay.
It's not really an amendment, it's just a substitute.
Substitute, however.
Okay, we have a motion and a second regarding the financial part of the motion that Mr. Crawl read originally. Is there a discussion on that? Seeing none, I guess you ready to vote. We'll start with Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Yes. And there was another part of the motion. Do you want to address that?
I'll address it to what Philip read till till the EDA finds somebody to be the executive director.
Is there a second to that portion of the motion?
Second.
Any discussion on that? You make it hard on the guy.
I just don't like 2 or 3 things rolled into one, you know. Old school.
Any discussion? We'll start the motion, start the voting with Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. Now I'm going to ask Mr. Dalton if he'll come and present some information about a possible EDA executive director part-time position later on, earlier on. Larry, you can come on up to.
He's the support here. You have before you a proposed job description for the EDA director. What the EDA has asked for is the authority and approval of the board to advertise for a part-time executive director to work directly for the EDA board. They will completely fund the position. It has to run through county payroll, so they'll reimburse us, the EDA, based on a bill each month. There's one thing that, Larry, I have done, there's a statement that needs to be added to this thing, job description everybody has is the EDA director should correlate and report to the Carroll County Administrator on projects and provide detailed information in order for the county administrator to update the Board of Supervisors and provide the required information so the Board of Supervisors can prepare a detailed funding package and approve it. And we'd ask for authority from the Board of Supervisors for the EDA to advertise this. It'll be advertised through Ms. Dalton's HR department. The applications will be obtained, provided to the EDA Board of Directors. They will come forth and interview. Larry, one of the things that the Board of Supervisors would like to do is have the ability for the county administrator to be a participant in that interview process, and so that we can move forward with this. And I'd ask for board approval of this tonight. Okay, thank you.
You've heard Mr. Dalton's presentation. Do you want to take action?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay, is there a second to Mr. Moore's motion?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, I sense you must be ready to vote, and I'll start the voting with Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, board.
Thank you. Good luck. I hope you get somebody really good. Our next item on the new business is discussion of the CARES Act, and I think Mr. Hill's going to have some discussion about that.
Yes, we was on the committee with the circuit court to look at the courtroom and things that we needed to do there to make sure that our jurors and everyone is safe there. And they're going to be doing some things with the signage, the capacity that we have here that they didn't have. A couple other things that where they're going to put the jurors, secondary places that they could go, and that sort of thing. Dealing with our, I think putting in another larger TV, different things in there that's going to cost us a little bit. It's not going to be that expensive, but things like that with our air conditioning or ventilation, there'll be some stuff done there. And we'll provide some other type stuff for the courtroom in reference to the CARES Act. Hope I didn't forget anything.
Do you have any figures on what's up?
No, they didn't have the figures because we don't have it all in, but they wanted to get approval so they could go ahead and start getting that stuff together. Is that correct, Kristen?
Yes, I have some of the invoices already, but we would like to take the money to do these things for the court from our rent relief
That's it.
funds
That's,
in our CARES Act money that we have not expended.
yeah.
Something that would require a motion to do that.
Yes.
It's a little non-specific, but I think it's a good thing.
I forgot about under the Relief Act, or rent relief. So I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I do have one question, Mr. Chairman. On that rent relief money, didn't we pass as a board a motion that the rest of that money went to the sheriff's office?
I'm sorry, I think it's a.
Didn't the rest of that rent relief money that wasn't spent supposed to went to the sheriff's department? For CARES Act funding, it was in that motion.
I thought it was for, that would revert back to the schools.
We probably better check the minutes on
I can do that. Some of it has been expended, but there is some left.
it. I would just make sure there.
I can't answer the question.
You're right.
Can you, I assume, I may be mistaken.
Mr. Dalton might could answer it,
Yeah.
because he helped me with that motion,
Yeah.
but I made the motion. Mr. Dalton. We're gonna revert back to the minutes probably, but remember in my motion with the CARES Act money, we said that
The rent relief.
rent relief money that wasn't used was gonna go to the sheriff's department for CARES Act?
Mm-hmm.
Can we use it?
Anyway, this is how the board of supervisors, y'all sort of approved that. And we talked about some other money going to schools and stuff. I think at any point in time, you can redirect it to where you need it to be.
Okay.
The only discussion is give Mr. Watson time enough that he get it spent by December the 15th.
Right.
So whatever you decide, I think is good, as long as it fits in with the CARES Act.
Okay.
Does that clarify your question?
I think so.
But they're gonna benefit a little from this anyway.
Yeah, I get that, but I just, want to keep, we've had a motion and it did pass by the board to take that money there.
It would sound like this motion would modify the other
Okay.
motion a little bit. Anything else anybody wants to discuss? I'll start the vote with Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
No.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
No.
Mr. McCraw. Yes. Yes. The vote is 4-2 to approve. That's all the new business that I have on my list. Does anybody else have anything to do?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I just want, make a motion that we allow the county administrator to advertise for the finance director.
Okay. Now, there's a motion that we have the county administrator advertise the position of finance director for the county. Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Do you want to set any parameters, leave that up to him as far as the time that he does it, how, and all that stuff?
I'll just leave it up to him.
Well, since you're ready to vote, I'll start with Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. McCraw? Yes. Yes. Is there any other new business that is not, does not appear on the agenda? Well, hearing none, we'll move to old business, and the first item under old business is committee appointments, and we do have some vacancies, if you would like to do anything about filling any of those.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we put Marty Hall in the EDA.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Discussion on Mr. Hall being appointed to the EDA. That'll be a 4-year term, I think.
Yes.
He's taking the place of someone who's resigned.
Which one?
Marty Hall.
Which place is he taking?
Larry
For
Chandler.
term date purposes? March 2021.
Ricky's been the one
July.
who's been.
Yeah, let's do Ricky's, yes.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll start the vote with Mr. McCraw. Yes. Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Yes. I think we need to appoint our new county administrator to the regional water, is that correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So I think that's something we need to do right also. That's my position.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? We already started to pile up on you. Start the motion with, let's start the voting with Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Yes. Are there any other appointments you want to make tonight?
On the appointments for the second EDA seat, last month we tabled pretty much Marty for a month, and we got some new applicants, so why don't we table the other position for a month, and then the board revisit it next month?
Okay. You want to make that to a motion or
Yes.
just informal?
I'll make a
There's a
motion.
motion to table the appointment of the second EDA position until next month. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? I'll start the voting with Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Yes. Anything else on the committee appointments?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to nominate Roger Cooley for social services. That'd be filling a vacancy.
Okay, that was a resignation, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second.
And that's done by district, is it not?
Yes.
That's your district, so. Any discussion? I'll start the voting with Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Yes. Anyone else? Any other positions?
Last month, there was the Mount Rogers revolving loan broke.
It's the same as ninth district finance.
Oh, is it the same? Okay.
Did,
And the executive director of the Twain County Chamber agreed to do both of those.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
so that.
That's right. I remember us talking about that now, about the executive director of it doing that.
So that was approved last
No,
time.
we did
It needs to be approved tonight? Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve Laura Witt for Ninth District Financing and the Crooked Road.
Is there a second?
I second.
Discussion? I'll start the voting with Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. Anyone else? If not, we will go to the second item under old business, which is the Carroll County Historical Society request, which speaks of the sign, of some interpretive signs on the lawn of the old courthouse and possible removal of the tree that's in the front yard.
I think the last meeting, we approved the signage. We put off the tree removal. And I talked to Shelby Puckett. She meant to be here that night to kind of discuss it, but she had forgotten about it and didn't mean for it to be all in. It's just going to be a discussion thing, not necessarily. And I did talk with at least one with the town of Hillsville, about they wanted at least one person there, at least wanted to moving the tree until later, but I think we should discuss possibility of maybe holding an event each year where we choose a Christmas tree from some of the Christmas tree farms, maybe put it out back or something, or deal with Hillsville, how we do our Christmas thing. That would be something we could do and recognize people who would donate a Christmas tree for that, or any other type ideas that they could come up with. Because we may want to, rather than have it on the front of the courthouse, since they're doing the farmer's market and stuff, town of Hillsville, they may want to move that to the back. That just, or we may need to plant another tree. We need to have that discussion, I think, down the road. Wait till after Christmas.
Table it till after Christmas.
Is that a motion?
Before you do that, someone with the Friends of Hillsville came by this morning, and if we are not using the tree this year, my understanding from maintenance is it's too big to decorate.
Yes, you
They
can
can't
say
get the
that.
jig lift in there to decorate it. They wanted to know if we wanted to provide a tree to be used this year, or if we wanted them to do that. A tree other than the one that's there.
Well, that is too large from what he was explaining to me today about trying to put lights on that thing, and especially that wreath that goes on the top.
Maybe we could select the tree of the year from somewhere in Carroll County and
Yep.
build a skating rink in the back and have the Rockefeller Center.
And have a rock festival, Stomping 76. I'll make a motion that we pass it.
We could
Wait.
contact a couple, suppliers and see if they supply, possibly donate a tree. Is that great?
Is that a motion?
I got a weep of willow in my yard, I'd take that.
Thinking won't be any leaves left after Christmas.
Yeah, I'll make that motion. We'll reach out to a few Christmas tree farmers, and see if we can't get the town one.
I think that'd be doing
Get the town
start
one
this.
that they can decorate.
Not to put words in your mouth, but are we tabling the decision on the big tree for now?
Yes.
Yes.
Can we include that in the same motion?
Yes, and table the cutting down the tree in front of the courthouse till after the first of the year.
I didn't want to put words in your mouth.
No, I'm not.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion? We could always go with the Charlie Brown tree, because that's a big limb out there.
Yep.
Soon you're ready to vote on that, I'll start with Mr. Moore.
Yeah.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. McCraw?
Yes.
Mr. McCraw? Yes. Yes. Motion passes. Our next item is that we need to discuss our continuity ordinance, which we passed for a 6-month period, which is over, and we need to have an emergency ordinance to continue that. That's in case we need to have virtual meetings because of the COVID-19, and we'll have a public hearing in December to approve a more final version of that.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion is to approve the emergency continuity ordinance and to hold a public hearing in December for the other motion. Is there any discussion? I'll start with you, Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Yes. I don't have any other old business on my list. Does anybody know what it is?
Mr. Chairman, I have one. It just occurred to me that at the last meeting, the board requested that Ballycom be contacted to come and present on the progress they might have had with leasing space for communications towers and equipment within the county. And that request has been made. I think Ms. Adams reached out several times to Ballycom. I reached out several times to Ballycom as well. I was able to make contact with Mr. Hamler last Monday and informed him of this meeting tonight, asked him to be here. He did say that he'd have to check his calendar and get back to me. I've not heard back. But, so what I would recommend is that we send a written letter to Ballycom asking them to attend the next meeting and brief the board on the progress that they've had under the contract. If that's your direction, I'll be happy to send that letter certified mail.
I think everybody would be in agreement to that.
I've had some, I want to make a motion that we send them a letter and tell them we don't want to have a contractor with them anymore after our 3-year period. If they're not want to be here and talk to us, I mean, this is internet. We need the internet bad in the county, and this guy controls it pretty much. Our contract runs out, I guess, here shortly. I'm not sure when. We're in the 3rd year.
We are, I think the 3-year period when we could terminate would end in, I don't think, next September, next October. I'd have to double check that contract, but we're just kind of beginning that 3rd year of the period.
Right, I mean, it's not important enough for him to come make money for him. You know, he controls everything that comes into this county.
I agree.
He gets half. So
Citizens are struggling right now.
Yep. So, but that's just my peace of mind. I'll go with you if you want to put it off. Send a letter, I'll go with that.
There's been a motion, is there a second?
I guess I should wait.
I'll second.
Second. Discussion?
I think I should wait for that discussion.
All right, we'll vote on the motion to give our county attorney authority to send the letter. I'll start with Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Mr. McCraw.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
McCraw.
Yes.
Yes, motion carries.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Is there any other old business that I'm not aware of? Well, we're down to board member comments, and so I'm going to start with Mr. Moore.
Okay. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and congratulations, Mr. Watson, for being in the hot seat. Closest to me, but thank you for coming on board and look forward to working with you in the future. Thank all the board members. I want to thank Ronald for your time you spent on the abandonment that we've asked you to do. Look forward to the future results in that. Let's remember our country in prayer and the families of the teenagers that were killed this week. That's can only imagine what they're going through, and let's lift them up, and that's all. Have a good Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you. Mr. McCraw.
I'd also like to welcome Mr. Watson with us and look forward for several years of service with you, sir. Would like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and just on top of what Tracy said about the teenagers and their families, we need to remember the schools and the school staff and the extended family and friends of those kids. Just watch over them and keep them safe and comfort those families.
Mr. Webb.
Okay, thank you. I would like to welcome Mr. Watson on board. Look very, very excited about who this board picked as our next county administrator, and I look forward to working with him in the future. Welcome aboard. I want to reflect also on the tragic accident. Early Sunday morning, there was an accident on Route 100 where 2 teenagers lost their life. There's a 3rd teenager in Roanoke Hospital fighting for his, and one of the teenagers didn't receive, or what I understand, didn't receive very many injuries. But I was looking on my Facebook page before this meeting started when we were between, and I noticed that they have started a fund for the families of the teenagers that lost their lives, and just want to pass that information along. It's going to be a fund to help with funeral expenses, and you can go to any Skyland National Bank and make a donation to help those out. And I just can't imagine going through what they've got to go through. So I want to wish my condolences and lift them in prayer. Wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. We're getting in the holiday season, and look forward to that as best we can do it with our COVID regulations and stuff. There does seem to be a lot of COVID popping back up, and especially in Southwest Virginia. And if you've noticed, our governor is thinking about locking down Southwest Virginia even worse. So please be careful. It's not over. It's not over by any means. I mean, every day you hear of people that's being tested positive and that sort of thing. So be very careful with the COVID. Don't let your guard down with it. And other than that, guys, thank everybody for coming out and supporting us. And I look forward to working with the new county administrator and having a prosperous year. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. McGraw. Sorry.
Yes, I'd like to start off thanking Mr. Dalton for the service he's given us and the research and the work he's done for us. And I'd also like to welcome Mr. Watson along with us. His resume and the interviews we had with him impressed me, and I think all the rest of the board. Looking forward to the job he's going to do. We feel like he'll be good. And if you look at our YouTube, I've had several to mention that since they can't come and be in the audience, they want to know why we're shy with the speakers. Some of us don't come through good. So let's try to get into the speakers a little bit better so we can keep them informed. And I got a letter a while back, a few weeks ago, complaining about a vacant lot. And it had no signature, so I don't know who sent it. That's why I'm addressing it tonight. As I checked on the issues that was the problem to the person, I was told that there's nothing the county could do without zoning, and I don't think we want that. So I reckon that covers it. I think everybody's coming out, and the interest is shown in the board meetings, on the YouTube and all of that. So let's try to keep them better informed so they'll be happy. And happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Mr. Vice Chair, Mr. Hill.
Yeah, I want to thank Mr. Dalton for all he's done, all the work he's done, and looking forward to working with Mr. Watson. I think he comes with plenty of experience, and probably knows how to deal with a lot of this stuff. And I want to have prayers for the family and friends of those teenagers that Joe so eloquently spoke of. And keep your prayers out for the school system, what they're dealing with, and all the public that's out there, and be careful. Try to use your mask. I noticed today coming in, there was a line of folks waiting to get tested down here for the coronavirus. So we may be in for it, so let's all take care. And happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Well, I'm just going to echo several of the comments already, and I appreciate Mr. Dalton and that he stuck with us through kind of thin and got a little thicker toward the end. Our finances improved, but it was pretty skinny there for a while. But he helped pump out the bilges a little bit, got the ship kind of righted up, and I appreciate that. And certainly looking forward to working with Mike. He hides behind the podium. I can't see the evil eye that he gives me the way we were set up here. But anyway, I know there'll be great things for Carroll County to come in the future, and with our EDA reorganization, and we just hope the very best for our county and our citizens. And I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving too. And we always give the last word to the county administrator. So, Mike, it's your turn.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity that I have. I've enjoyed my first day. It's been a busy one. I'd like to thank Salel for all the help that he's given me in the transition we're going through. He's been very extremely helpful, and over the next little bit, I believe that I'm going to appreciate all the help I can get to learn what's going on. So just want to say thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity.
We're glad to have you. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
One nice
You
thing.
got a last word?
I just, yeah, you brought up about the speakers. We are having our system updated. I forgot about till somebody just reminded me that will be done, you know, under the CARES Act and all that, or the coronavirus stuff, so that will help us in the future. All right, I'm done.
All right, sounds good. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make that motion.
Are we going to skip the second meeting, or?
Because it doesn't feel like we need a second meeting in November.
December 14th.
Our next meeting is in December the what? I don't have a calendar.
14th.
14th. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting's adjourned, gentlemen and ladies.